The United States is one of the largest funders of non-governmental organizations working in the area of sexual reproductive health services, particularly family planning in Nigeria. The USAID and UNFPA in particular have been major financial partners in the activities and campaigns for the promotion, supply, and acceptance of modern contraceptives towards reducing the effects of unwanted and unintended pregnancies, as well as unsafe abortions. But since the introduction of the expanded global gag rule by President Donald Trump in January 2017, there has been huge cuts in funds received by these NGOs, directly impacting adversely on family planning services and other crucial reproductive health services in developing countries. The Mexico City policy, also known as the Global Gag Rule, prohibits foreign NGOs that receive financial assistance from the US to use even their own non-US funds to provide counseling about abortion and referral of women and girls for abortion, perform abortion services other than in cases which involve a threat to the life of the woman or girl, rape or incest, and advocate for the legalization of abortion in their own country.
Now that you know what the Global Gag Rule is all about, my guest on the program this morning will be educating us on the impact of this Global Gag Rule on women and children. Hello and welcome to Health Business. My name is Oluwatoyin Kolawole. Stay tuned. I'm now being joined by Dr. Abiola Akiyode Afolabi. You're welcome on the program, ma'am.
Good morning.
Okay, doctor, in as much as we know that this rule is targeted at abortion services, will health centers that perform other services like malaria and HIV have, what will be the impact of this rule on those centers?
Well, the Global Gag Rule is a rule that is called the Mexico City Rule, which the U.S. government some years back adopted. And the Global Gag Rule actually ban any form of advocacy, whether it is lobbying or it's advocacy for educating people, counseling, especially from organizations that are getting support from family planning support from the United States. And of course, because Nigeria is also one of the beneficiaries of the United States grants, that's why the Global Gag Rule would indirectly affect Nigerian organizations working on issues of family planning, sexual and reproductive health, and in particular working on educating people around abortion, safe abortion, and what have you. And if we look at the kind of data that we have in Nigeria, over 10,000 to 30,000 people seek unsafe abortion in Nigeria, and it is also one of the areas where we record a lot of mortality, maternal mortality in Nigeria, because one of the things that is clear in our law is also the fact that abortion is not acceptable in our law, except in circumstances which has to do with health related complications. So meaning that people who want to seek abortion option would rather want to go and get abortion from quack doctors, because the doctor who is procuring abortion can also be arrested by the Nigerian law. So by and large, we get a lot of particularly young people go for unsafe abortion, and what the kind of support that the US could have done is to help in terms of educating people, informing them about the implication of abortion, and also supporting people who in other areas of family planning and what have you. And we thought that by implication, what it means is that a lot of women will die. As we speak globally, 70,000 people die due to unsafe abortion. So by the time we then open it up, you know, to people not getting counseling, not being able to be advised, people not being able to even lobby the government to support abortion services, we would probably have more after beyond 78,000, which I think is not appropriate. It's not something that is something that we should all oppose as people that are working on women's health.
So, having known all these facts, what will be the implication on women and children?
One of the most potent implication is the fact that by having the kind of support, people can have information on family planning, they can have information on their sexual and reproductive rights, people can have information that can help them to define their choices. So if we don't have it, particularly in the grassroots communities, where we are still having problems in Nigeria, in the core northern part of Nigeria, where the issue of services on sexual and reproductive health are still not in the effective operational stage yet. What we would then have is that we have more women dying. They don't have information on what to do about when they get pregnant, how to receive family planning information, counseling, and what have you. So that is going to increase the number of deaths that we see, particularly from rural community. Because what this thing is saying is that you cannot lobby your government to pass laws for countries where they already have laws talking about safe abortion, especially in times of incest, in case of rape, and other places. Maybe they are better off. When countries like Nigeria, where we don't have even any exception except on medical grounds. So if somebody is even raped, you are not allowed to go for safe abortion and all that. So it's going to affect us more. It's going to also affect us in terms of information, because it also does not allow for counseling. So you cannot even counsel people on whether abortion option or any other option that the woman can take. So what is going to, and that's why people say that the law affect women's right to participate. It affects women's right to associate. It affects women's right to freedom of expression, because it also does not allow for you to even express or to discuss family planning services or options.
So in your own view, how would this gag rule affect healthcare in terms of costs?
Well, it's going to, because the supports that have been given have been helping in, alleviating. People are getting some of these services for free in most of the countries where they are being supported. So what this is going to do is that it's going to make it something that people can only get when you have to make payments of money. Most of the things that people get before in Nigeria, like condom and some family planning services that they get, funds that they get, which are subsidized, because of this grant that is being given by the US government. So if this grant is removed, by implication, what it means is that most of these women would have to pay. And of course, if we look at the level of poverty in this country, most women would rather not do that. So meaning that they would probably rather go to quack doctors or find other solutions to it. So it's going to affect us even in terms of growth. If you look at the population of Nigeria presently, we're already going towards 180 million. And there are predictions that in another 10 years, we might actually reach about 300 million. So if you look at that, and if we don't have that kind of services that can give us information about our sexual and reproductive rights, family planning, safe abortion, and what have you, it will escalate the population growth more than what we can desire.
Will it be fair to say women and children will be the greatest loser of this rule?
Apparently, women and children will be the biggest loser, particularly women who would be denied the right to make a choice of how many children that they want to have, will be denied the right of spacing their children, will also be denied the right to be able to make a choice on their bodily integrity, to say whether this is what I want, the number of children that I want, whether I want this child at this point or I don't want this child at this point. So women would actually be the biggest loser. And when a woman is suffering, of course you know that the child also would also suffer.
All right, Doctor, what will be your advice to the federal government in terms of seeking funds internally?
One of the things that the government, if you look at the government's budget, the government budgets for health has not met up with the demand from both global and regional African countries. In 2001, the African countries came together and they agreed that at least 10% funds should go to 15% should go to budget for health, and Nigeria has not been able to go beyond 6.5 for in the last couple of years. And when you look at that 6.5, it doesn't also speak to some of the core areas of women's health. So we are canvassing that in terms of budgeting, Nigeria should begin to be creative in their budgets in a way to be able to support family planning and other sexual and reproductive rights. So we need to first generate from within. Then we can also target private sectors, the oil and gas, because health is wealth. If the women's health is good, the country is likely going to develop better. So we need to look for creative ways internally, to address our over-dependence on donor funding, particularly on issues that are very critical to us, which are issues of health, shelter, and also addressing poverty in the country.
Thank you so much for being on Health Business this morning.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
In a bid to ensure children with disabilities are well taken care of, a leading professional services firm in Nigeria has supported 5 charity organizations with 5 million naira to provide succor to indigent and vulnerable children in the society. The charity organizations that benefited from the kind gesture include Health Emergency Initiative, Optimal Children's Home Orphanage, Destiny Trust Children's Foundation, Down Syndrome Foundation of Nigeria, and Cerebral Palsy Center. Some of the beneficiaries expressed appreciation to the donor for responding to the painful cries of the poor and needy in the society through the gesture.
Health services funding is a critical problem in any society. And in Nigeria, we have a significantly dysfunctional society, and with government grappling with different things ineffectively. And the care for the poor is terrible. And for us, therefore, having set up this platform, if all Nigerians, most Nigerians will rally around it, it doesn't matter whether you're putting in 500 naira a month, but we want steady flow.
The chance, the noble legitimate dreams that every ordinary kid will have in a proper family, we can also give them or extend that to them. So definitely this gift will go a long way in helping us to achieve our goal, in helping these children.
I believe in one way or another, this donation is going to support us in making sure we achieve our set goals for 2018. So I'm speaking on behalf of the president of the foundation, Mrs. Modi, and saying thank you to PwC for this wonderful gesture.
The representative of Emergency Health Initiative, Dr. Undi Nwekwisi, noted that the money will go a long way in stabilizing the road accident victims brought by the Federal Road Safety Corps and Lagos State.
Pharmacists are very important in all communities. Let's join the pharmacy segment this week to know what they have for us. Stay tuned.
The use of herbal medicine is gaining popularity all over the world. Some say they take herbal medicines because of the rising cost of pharmaceutical consumables and also a desire to return to natural therapies.
I use herbal drugs and it's so much good for my health. And then when I use it, it's so much, when I feel it somehow, when I take it, my head was getting fine.
Natural herbs are more better than chemical drugs because that's the best. It's more better, it's safe. as long as it's hygienically prepared and you take it at the right time and the right proportion, through the right prescription that is guided by somebody that has knowledge concerning the amount you should take and which one is best for every part of your body. It's okay, it's more better than chemical drugs.
If it is used according to the prescription of the producers, it doesn't have side effects such as all these other drugs.
It's not that I don't like them, but normally in my village I used to use some of them, but when I get to Lagos I discover that many people use them. But according to me, I don't like testing what I don't know much about, so I don't used to take them.
While some conventional physicians don't consider alternatives like herbs to be therapeutically valid, others have established referral relationships with naturopathic physicians or even have staff on site who might prescribe herbal medicines. Professor Odukoya, an Associate Academic Dean and Research Faculty at the Pacific College of Oriental Medicine, says herbs and herbal formulas provide a natural solution for many conditions.
We took a bold step at the University of Lagos years back, that was in the year 2011, in having to translate some of our research results as to natural products so that we can use them as is. Because in having to use natural products, in as much as possible, you want to use your medicinal plants, which is the key or the primary natural product, as is, with little or no processing, making this as teas or other simple formulations.
Odukoya pointed out that one of the greatest benefits associated with herbal medicine is that it does not come with adverse side effects, adding that they also tend to offer long-lasting benefits in terms of overall wellness.
At the stage at which we are, you do formulation studies, you will be able to predict the expiry date for your medications. Then as to dosage, there has always been dosages. Pharmacies started with portions, using 1 portion, half portion, 2 portions before they went on to scales. Likewise, herbal medicine is with portions, and depending on the density of the powder used determines the weight. And universally, it has been found, like when you say 1 cup, there are different sizes of cup. The average size, as specified in pharmacopoeias abroad, is 150 ml.
She, however, observed that lack of funding in terms of research has hampered the production and development of herbal medicine in Nigeria.
Those people out there, they think they know it all. You will see that, if not, I won't say 100%, but let me say 99.99% of Nigerian natural products presently in the market, they are not from research results. They are from old grandpapa's records, and of course WHO accepts it. Once we have records of having been using it, it's effective and it's not toxic. That means it can be used to promote the use of these medicines.
Professor Odukoya advised Nigerians to ask questions before resorting to herbal medication.
Infertility is a major issue among young couples in Nigeria. Let's now join Dr. Abayomi Ajayi to educate us on the latest technology in the treatment of infertility. Stay tuned.
If a woman has the 2 ovaries are involved with endometriosis, what we call endometrioma, or there is endometriosis on the ovary, and the 2 ovaries are involved, and you're less than, say, about 35, it's better for you to store your eggs. because you know that most of the time endometriosis is going to be progressive. Or if you're having what we call, this is not the first time you had the surgery before, and it's recurring again, it's better to start thinking of storing your eggs or your embryos. That's also fertility preservation. So, but also there are other methods that we can also look at. If you look at, the question you asked is that there are myths and the facts. Now, there's some myths that we have carried on along the line that people thought maybe if you do fertility preservation, for example, for somebody who has cancer, that maybe the effect of if you get pregnant, that the effect on the pregnancy might make the cancer worse. But this is not very true. We have seen that if you are caught early and you have your treatment and you survive, and if you want to do fertility preservation in between, it does not affect the prognosis of the disease itself. Also with the babies, there are no reports to show that congenital abnormalities are increasing these babies. So it's very safe to do fertility preservation in patients with cancer. The problem we're having now sometimes is that some of these patients, they don't come to us early. But that is not even in Nigeria alone, it's all over the world. And therefore, there are methods now that are available for you to, if you go to, for example, you want to store your eggs or you want to store your embryos, it's now possible, instead of wasting so much time. You know, in IVF, normally an IVF cycle takes about 4 to 6 weeks. But now it's possible for you to even do about 2 cycles within about 4 weeks, using some new methods now that there is available for people who have cancer, because we know that time to treatment is of essence in cancer. So all these things are taken into cognizance now, and that's where the world is going to. And I think we know that response to stimulation also, if you're using drugs, that the fact that there is cancer does not affect your response to stimulation. Egg production is the same with people who have cancer. So it's quite safe for us to be able to do fertility preservation in people with cancer. And don't forget, I said it's not only for cancer that you need to do fertility preservation. I think that's one thing that I really need to address. The issue of family history. In Nigeria, majority of the people don't even know their family history. You know, the mothers don't tell their children what goes on in the family. For example, I don't know how many viewers watching me know at what age their mothers attained menarche, the first time that they menstruated. At what age did she stop menstruating? So many people don't know. And these are important information that can guide you. You remember the story of Angelina Jolie? Because of the fact that she knew that their family carried the trait of breast cancer, what did she do? She went screened herself, and saw that she also is carrying the gene, and she immediately went to do the surgery that will prevent her from having cancer. And that is also available in Nigeria. We can screen for all those diseases. We can look for people who carry particular genes that's either predisposed to breast cancer or every other cancers as well. And what I'm even referring to is for people who have premature menopause. Some of these are carried genetically and they run in families. And so if you don't know, for example, at what age your mom achieved menopause, then you might just be running on thin ice, thinking that you have all the time in the world, when fertility preservation might just be something that you need to embrace, and embrace it fast before you also get to that age of reaching menopause. Well, I hope that answers your questions, and if there's still any other question, I'll be willing to answer them. Thank you very much.
We've come to the end of the program this week. You can be part of the program by calling the numbers showing on your screen. My name is Oluwatoyin Kolawole, and the program is Health Business. Join me next week for a fresh package. Remember, living healthy is a serious business. Bye for now.